The snow didn't fall anymore. It simply existed. Bleached, wind-packed drifts as far as the eye could see, interrupted only by the rust-stained bones of what was once a thriving colony. Now, just wreckage and whispers. Callen Voss tightened the strap on his pack, scanning the desolate outpost with practiced eyes. He wasn't here for company. He was here for salvage, copper wiring, filtered water, anything that hadn't been stripped by time or the last scavenger crew. That's when he heard it. A soft cry. Not the wind. Not the creaking of old shelters. A child. He moved fast, instincts kicking him like old muscles remembering war. The sound came from a half-buried tent near the comms tower. The canvas was sun-faded and shredded, the front flap hanging limp. He stepped closer and saw them. 3 figures. A woman, blue-skinned, with long pale hair and frost-bitten lips, hunched protectively around 2 small children. Both boys, both shivering, their little hands wrapped tightly in the woman's torn cloak, their cheeks hollow with cold and hunger. She looked up as he approached. Her eyes were silver and sharp, too bright for someone so exhausted. "I'm not here to hurt you," Callen said, raising his hands. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. Her eyes slid toward the boys, and then she lowered her head. Submission. Desperation. Callen knelt slowly, removing the insulated flask from his pack and rolling it toward her. "They're freezing," he said. "Let me help." Her name was Varel, and her voice, when it came, was fragile from disuse. "We fled the mining station," she whispered as Callen wrapped the boys in emergency blankets and started a small heater. There was a collapse. My mate was inside. "I'm sorry," he said. She nodded, though her eyes didn't. "They sealed the site," she said. "Declared all inside dead. We escaped. No one came looking. You walked here." She nodded again. Callen looked down at the children. They were too thin, too quiet. "I'll take you back to base," he said. "No." She gripped his sleeve. "Tight. They'll separate us. Study them. I've seen what they do to children like mine. They're just not human," she said. "Not to them." Callen didn't argue. He'd seen what frontier stations did to refugees, especially alien ones. "Please," she said, voice trembling. "I don't want food or shelter. I want—" She hesitated. Then she did something that surprised him. She knelt. She bowed her head. "Adopt them," she said. "Claim them as yours." He blinked. "I what? If I don't survive, they need protection. A name. Blood ties. I beg you." Callen had no children. He had no family. No one left. He looked at the boys again, curled beside the heater, the older one watching him with eyes too old for his tiny frame. And something in his chest cracked open. They left the ruins at dawn. He carried one boy on his back, and Varel carried the younger wrapped in a thermal cloak. The journey took 3 days. Varel didn't speak much. She limped from an old wound that never healed right. Her cough grew worse each night. And still, she smiled when her boys clung to her arms, whispering songs in their native tongue. She never once asked Callen if he meant what he said. But on the 3rd night, as she lay curled against the heat core in his shelter, she placed something in his hand. A thin metal pendant, engraved with alien script. "What's this?" "Their father's lineage mark," she said softly. "Use it. If they ask, say it was passed to you." Callen closed his fist around the metal. "They'll need you," she added. "More than you know." Varel didn't wake the next morning. She was still, peaceful. Her lips touched the boys' foreheads in frozen sleep. Callen buried her beneath the old roots of a frost-crowned tree. The boys didn't cry. They just stood, quiet and still, gripping his hands. He registered them under the name Voss. Not even the station clerk questioned it. Just another cold orphan case, tucked away in a database no one ever read. They grew fast, not just physically, though they shot up like pine stalks, but in other ways. They were faster than human children, quieter, smarter, But Callen taught them how to laugh, how to build, how to stay hidden when the patrols came asking about unauthorized births. He named the eldest Cale, the younger Riven, and they called him Dad. The first time Riven said it, Callen froze. "You don't have to call me that," he said. "Why?" the boy asked. Callen had no answer. The years passed in quiet cycles. Snow, repairs, stories at night. Callen taught them to trap, to read old maps, to fix what was broken. They taught him how to listen with silence, how to track by vibration, how to see in the dark. He taught them how to love, and they gave him purpose. He never let them forget her. Varel, they spoke of her often, of the way she hummed when she braided their hair, the way her hand covered both their hearts when they were afraid. "Do you think she watches us?" Cale asked one night. "I know she does," Callen replied. When the scouts came, a research unit with scanners and weapons, Callen felt it in his gut. He packed fast. He knew the boys weren't safe anymore, but they refused to run. "We're not afraid," Cale said. "We'll fight." "Your children," Callen said. "We're her sons," Riven added. "And yours." Callen stood there, looking at them. His boys, not by blood, but by everything that mattered. He faced the scouts alone, blocked the door with his body. They scanned him, demanded names, origins, medical history. He gave them nothing. "You're hiding something," one soldier said. "Just my privacy." "We'll scan the cabin." "No," Callen said. The soldier raised a weapon, and then the door opened behind him. Cale stepped forward, unafraid. "My name is Callen Voss," he said. "I live here. This is my home." The officer blinked. "You're not human," Cale offered. "Maybe not, but my father is." Callen looked at the boy, tall now, confident, sharp as his mother once was. Riven stood beside him, silent, steady. The officer hesitated. Callen held his breath. Then someone in the squad muttered, "They're just kids." Another said, "Nothing worth a fight." And they left. Later, by the fire, Cale asked quietly, "Did we do the right thing?" "You did what she would have done," Callen said. "You stood for your family." Years later, when Callen's hair turned white and the boys stood taller than him, he found a note tucked in the drawer of Varel's old pack. It was worn, translated in shaky script. "If you read this, and they still live, then thank you. You gave them a future I could not. You were the hope I begged for. Tell them I love them, and tell them I chose you. Not because you were strong, but because you were kind." Callen folded the note carefully and placed it in the firelight where they could all see it. "They already know," he whispered.